You're not gonna be as smart as Leopard. Reading that book to research a segment that will make you stand out. Because that's what America needs. Another cisgendered white male nerd doing a sports show. Not like there's a shortage of those. You know, this self-referential meta won't help you. What would it be? Checkered shirt, or the ironic yet unironic t-shirt because you're real. Ow! Was this trying to help? Well, look who's inside again. Well, the plane's in the air. Grab a wrench because we've got to build this one while we fly it. I'm Matt Ryan, and welcome to Yelling with Matt Ryan, right here on Clicks TV and WorldwideLeaderSports.com. And folks, this show, as a debut show, I'm very proud to bring you this show. Later on in the broadcast, we are going to be hearing from Dr. Download. We are also going to be seeing the first ever Hot Takes game show. That's right, the first edition of Hot Takes, hosted by my friend and yours, Stephanie Sotilli. And we'll have those contestants for you a little later on in the program. And also we'll be hearing from Dr. Marvin Williams as he brings us his side notes. And I want to take this time at the start of the show to just say to everybody in broadcasting, everybody in television, especially in sports television. I can't do it, Joe. I can't. I'm trying to be humble and nice and kind, but you fools gave us a TV show. You gave us the platform to just talk an unmitigated amount of garbage about you. Not the Clicks TV people. You people are nice, but what have you wrought onto the world of sports punditry? Because we're gonna spend all 35 of our first season's episodes slagging you goofs. We have a talk show that is a variety show that has puppets. The entire cold open was with a puppet. And there's more puppets coming. I was Amazon price comparison shopping, Joe, for a Skip Bayless puppet. Oh. I'm gonna find it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna find it. Because for all of the things on television, for Skip Bayless, for anybody and everybody on most ESPN punditry programmings, Jason Whitlock, his hairline, and every caloric decision he's made since 1975, this is your fault. All of this, mainly Jason Whitlock's hair. The main reason I am doing this TV show is because Jason Whitlock's hair has frightened me to the point where I'm getting back into sports talk. And I have brought a smattering of some of the most brilliant minds in and out of sports. And a little bit later on in the broadcast, we're going to talk about our first live special on July 29th. Tankapalooza 2021. We'll have more info on that just a little bit later on in the broadcast. But when we come back, we are going to hear from Dr. Download, because this is Yelling with Matt Ryan, and you reap what you sow. Welcome back to Yelling with Matt Ryan, and I am Matt Ryan. The name gimmick at the bottom is enough of a convincer for you to know who I am. But it's not just yelling with Matt Ryan, it's yelling with. The with is very important. Not with, but W-I-T-H. W-I-T-H. See, that's the important part. Because it's not just me. You at home are yelling along with us. So we want you to follow us on social media, on Facebook. We are yelling. Same thing on the Twitter machine. We are yelling. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Yelling YouTube channel right now if you're watching this episode on the YouTube channel. Hello, happy Bobby Bonilla Day. And you know what? On Bobby Bonilla Day, we need to go to a man who knows the deep and dirty secrets of sports. Coming to you from the mainframe, coming to you from a technicolor dream wrapped in a monochromatic nightmare, here's Dr. Download.
Debate culture has fooled you into thinking that logic equals fact, and emotions are bad. Unless, of course, that emotion is wanting it more in the clutch, which is illogical. Not illogical. It's stupid. It's stupid because debate culture is stupid. Professional sports are children's games played by adults. Why do you need older adults who are in worse shape playing adult high school debate club to enhance how much you enjoy your entertainment? How much more do you think you're really going to understand put ball in hole? You won't. And the truth is, you don't even care. Deep down, you just want to sound smart when you talk to other sports fans, so you pick a favorite idiot, memorize their hot takes, and you repeat them at each other forever. Facts don't matter, logic doesn't matter, emotion doesn't matter. And hey, listen, I get it. You're just a product of a culture of toxic social programming that makes you feel like every conversation needs to be an intellectual joust instead of fostering meaningful emotional connections with the only people who will ever remember you when you're dead. To quote Whitney Houston, it's not right, but it's okay. Reciting talking head hot takes is never going to be a substitute for deep, loving friendships, and on some level you know that. But at least you're doing it with sports and not politics. I think everybody not actively on Twitter all day can agree. Those people are the worst. Just remember, we will never know which franchise is the best in any major sport. Playoff systems, championship bout matchmaking, double elimination tournaments. None of these are scientific methods for figuring out who's the best. Don't blame sports, though. Nobody ever promised that these outcomes were meant to determine who's the best. They only promise to determine who wins. See, even champion doesn't mean the best possible competitor. The modern definition is winner of first prize in a competition. And historically, champion just refers to anyone doing battle for another's rights or honor. Which, when you think about it, doesn't that make a lot more sense? Like, LeBron James, doesn't matter which team he goes to, one way or the other, he's Nike's champion. He gets more money for playing basketball from one brand, Nike, than all of his NBA team contracts combined. Same goes for Steph Curry's relationship with Under Armour, or Roger Federer's contract with Uniqlo. Maybe you think the historical etymology of the noun is a reach. You're wrong, but I'll entertain it. Suppose we go instead with the first listed modern definition of the verb, to champion. Champion. To act as a militant supporter of, to uphold or advocate. For example, always champions the cause of the underdog. Now, even if you were going to force me to go with the modern day MLA format, grammar and usage, popular definition of what championing means, then still definitively, the true champions are us, the fans. Oh, God, no. Yeah, we're not going with the verb. Or you can if you want. It doesn't matter. What it does mean is, at some point, the word champion could be defined so many different ways, it becomes meaningless. And yet, at no point do any of those definitions equate to the best. Trophies, rings, cups, belts, bracelets, Brobdingnagian novelty checks, and any other kind of prize, the best competitor doesn't always win. But the winner is always the champion. And in their own ways, all of the other competitors, even those of us who cheer them on, are the champions. And before you ask, yes, that means you really were the asshole for bitching about participation trophies your entire adult life, you toxic, insecure prick. But that's another uncomfortable truth for another show, and frankly, another person. I am not your therapist. Be good to each other. Bye.
We here at Yelling, we like punishing hot takes. And we have decided to give Stephanie Sotilli, our friend, brilliant comedian, and someone who doesn't like sports, her own sports game show. So right now is my honor, my pleasure, my inimitable, frightening feeling to bring you Hot Takes with Stephanie Sotilli.
Thank you, Matt. And I am Stephanie Sotilli, your host of Hot Takes, the game show where we punish contestants for bad takes, and I lose a little bit more of my sanity every single time. So let's go over the rules. Number 1, for 3 rounds, our contestants will have 60 seconds to give their take on a sports topic. For the first round, it is worth 1 point. The second round, worth 2 points. And you guessed it if you passed kindergarten, the third round is worth 3 points. At the end of each round, our 3-judge panel will decide who had the best take on the topic. And the loser will spin the dreaded wheel of shame. And who loses the round does have the choice to double down on their take. If they win the next round, their opponent must spin the wheel of shame. If the double downer loses, they must take 2 punishments and lose a point. If there is a tie, we will then go to a tiebreaker round where both contestants will have 30 seconds to argue any point that they please. And the winner will join the big board of victory, and the losers will join the journal of failure, because as they say, winners write history and losers will ghost me after following me on Instagram. Let's welcome our contestants. First is Angel Pena, the self-described Merv Griffin of pro wrestling. Angel, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right, glad to have you. And our second contestant, Zach Morgan, the aspiring broadcaster and unfortunately a New Jersey Devils fan. How you feel about that, Zach?
Yeah, par for the course.
Okay. And let's welcome our 3-judge panel. First up, our lovely dancing queen, noted app enthusiast, Joe Blair. How are you doing?
I'm doing good today, Stephanie. Thank you.
Awesome. Our second judge, musical director and noted bat flip enthusiast, Dr. Marvin Williams. How are you, sir?
Robots, clowns, gluten, robot clowns.
Okay, lots of words being thrown at me. And our third judge, political operative and a person who may have dated Olympia Dukakis in a dream, Alex Soberman. How are you?
Doing great, Steph.
All right, great. So you guys ready to play?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, love that enthusiasm. Really lukewarm there. Let's get started. Okay, contestants, your first question. With the NBA Final Four consisting of teams in Milwaukee, Atlanta, Phoenix, and the Clippers, is this a good thing to show the depth and parity of the NBA? Or an indictment on the shortest turnaround in NBA history between seasons and a lack of oversight by both the NBA and the NBAPA? Angel, let's start with you.
Parity is absolutely a benefit in this situation. It is shining through. Why? Because everyone seems to think, at least in my age bracket, and I'm in my mid-30s, that before it began with Lakers and Celtics, and then it was the Jordan era, and then it was the Kobe Shaq era, and so on, all the way through the Heat. And everyone forgets Dr. J took the Sixers to the championship. The Bad Boys Pistons shocked the world and halted Jordan for 2 years. Akeem Olajuwon. I can go on and on. You need periods in the NBA where different teams rise to power. Dwayne Wade was Dwayne Wade because he got that first title before LeBron, and so everyone knew a star was made. We may be seeing this with Devin Booker, so I'm not sweating the fact that the heaviest hitters aren't in the semifinals right now. Why? Because there's enough talent and enough star power that down the line, we're going to have tremendous NBA finals with all the players that we're seeing right now. We don't need all the heavy hitters.
Okay, great. Just under 60 seconds. Really good. All right, Zach, what about you?
What? So the people who were complaining when James Harden join the Nets. Is this not the exact situation they wanted? Now we turn around and say, oh, hey, there are not enough stars in the league. LeBron James was knocked out in the first round. We've got Kevin Durant out in the second round. Give me a break. The parity in the league is a great thing. As Angel said, Devin Booker is making himself. He is rising. We've got other guys in this league. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a 2-time MVP. We still have talent in this league. Don't tell me that the parity is being destroyed because, unfortunately, yes, we did have a short turnaround. But you know what? If we wanted sports this year, there was going to be a shortened turnaround. It's not the only sport to deal with that. And if there are other teams in this league who can manage to survive, and yeah, they happen to not be injuries, and I'm sorry, not the league in other leagues, but I'm sorry, there's nothing to say. It's perfect. This is exactly what we want. We've got Trae Young leading a Cinderella story Atlanta Hawks team into the Eastern Conference Finals, and they've got a real shot at making it. That's impressive. We don't have that every year. This is a magical NBA season, regardless of what's happened.
All right, perfect. I'm going to pretend I understood what both of you thought, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what our judges think. So let's go with Marvin. Let's go with you first. Who do you think of the best?
Wow, that's a good one. Angel slightly edged my man out by half a point. Only because Zach did a great job. I love the fact that Zach brought in Atlanta. That's very true what's going on with that now. But his parroting the point of Angel, even though it's a good point, the fact that sort of took away from it being his original point. So sorry, brother, but a half a point, man, a half a point right there.
He took away my ammo. I came in with a specific thing, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Disagree with what I thought?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Joe, who do you think won that round?
I'm going to go with Angel, specifically for one of the big points Marvin brought up, which is Angel brought the take first, and Zach just kind of carried the same pace. That being said, I did really enjoy Zach's fire, but still, Angel dropped the take first.
Lastly, Alex, who do you think took the round?
Yes, Angel did bring the point first. Zach, I think, made a much more brilliant argument in that, and he also was able to get Giannis's name correctly on the first try, and I can't do that. So I'm going to give my slight edge to Zach.
So who took the first round is Angel. You have won the first point, which means that we will have a proxy be spinning the wheel of shame for you, Zach, to take your punishment. So right now we have the Thing from Adam's Family spinning the wheel. If you don't mind, go right ahead.
Wheel of shame.
Issue number 2. The Harlem Globetrotters recently submitted a letter to the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver wanting to join as an expansion franchise. If you were Adam Silver, would you accept the Globetrotters as an NBA team? How would you implement them into the league? Would you let them keep their style of play? And would you bring the Washington Generals in as well? This time, Zach, let's start with you. What is your answer to that?
The Harlem Globetrotters are a franchise that is older than the NBA. For them to join the NBA takes a little bit from what they are. And honestly, if we're gonna bring in the Globetrotters, I understand the Generals have the historical competition with them, but I'm pretty sure their record is like 1,800, something like that. So maybe we could find someone with a better record. Maybe we could bring back the Seattle Supersonics, who have a city that is dying for an NBA franchise, before we start talking about, all this great ideas. For the Globetrotters, yeah, obviously they would have to change their games, their style of play. We don't really partake well to music going on during the actual game, or at least the intense moments of the game, besides the ball being brought up the court. So that would definitely be interesting if they could perform without the music. I want to see that happen before we really talk about, some of the other flips. Everyone likes a good highlight reel dunk, so I'm not going to complain about that.
Let's go to Angel. What do you say?
The Globetrotters as a sports franchise has no value. As a commodity, as a brand, it has a lot of value. If you wanted, first off, you can't do the Harlem Globetrotters in the NBA. Why? Because James Dolan of the Knicks is going to have a heart attack. He's going to try to just purge the city. He'll burn down Madison Square Garden. He believes he has all the rights in the world to that city. But I do agree with Zach here. Sonics, I'm with you 100%. Seattle deserves a team more than anybody else. They deserve their Sonics back. I would also say Las Vegas is more deserving of a team after the Sonics, because that's one of the biggest growing sports cities in the country. Look at the Raiders, look at the Golden Knights. Now, what I will say is the Globetrotters, though, can be a brand in different ways. If you wanted to put a European team and say they have the essence of the Globetrotters, because also all of our sports leagues are trying to expand outward. That's doable. The other thing I would say is, since you have so many teams from the original National Basketball League, the Pistons, the Lakers, the 76ers, the Nuggets, and the Kings, what I would say is buy the Harlem Globetrotters, take their jerseys, allow the Knicks to play in them, allow the Globetrotters. Go ahead.
Your time is up. I think from now on, we're going to be implementing a bell or an alarm to let everybody know that their time is up. Just going to be easier because I feel like a jerk when I have to interrupt you, fortunately.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
Joe, who do you think won that round?
Angel had a good point. However, Zach wins the round for putting up the simple fact that there is no good reason on this planet the Washington Generals deserve to be an NBA franchise.
Alex, who do you think took the round?
I think Zach took the round for the same reason. Yeah, the Washington Generals. Washington has a team. They play like the Generals much of the time. We don't need more of it.
Doctor, what do you say?
Zach, on this too, half a point made me change the way I was scoring. So my bad. I apologize early. I like the idea about giving franchises that were in cities that were taken away an opportunity to come back. I love Angel's idea, though, about the jersey switch and to give the identity. Now, the good thing is they don't call traveling in the NBA anyway, so that's okay. The good thing is they don't call handshaking. They don't call, nobody boxes out. Defense is like a disease. So that would work. But I mean, I totally agree with actually both, with both cats, man. It's the NBA needs basketball, and the Globetrotters represent something bigger than just basketball.
Zach, all three judges said you were the winner, so you win 2 points for round 2, which means Angel, our proxy mysterious hand, will be spinning the Wheel of Shame. Ready? And
Wheel of Shame. Wheel of Shame.
Wheel of Shame.
Wheel of Shame. Oh.
what did it land on?
Opponent's choice.
Opponent's choice. Okay.
Now, Angel does have a chance, though, Steph, to save himself and double down on the next take.
Okay.
So he's got the option.
As someone who doesn't really feel shame, no, I'll take it.
Okay. So Zach, what is your punishment for Angel?
Can I just request that I go first for the next round?
Punishment turned into just a perk for you.
Strategy.
There's nothing in the rules
Strategy.
against it. So
Strategy.
let's go. Also, side note, there's nothing in the rules that say a dog can't play this game either. It's Airbud rules.
I should have brought Max.
So why don't we just move right along to the third issue and the final round? This question is, how do you handle the issue of pitchers using illegal substances to help with their control? So Zach, what is your answer?
Very simply, legalize sunscreen. This is ridiculous. I understand that there is a big issue going on in this league right now, but the fact is, when you get sweat and rosin, it's very sticky in hot weather. In cold weather, not so much. What'll solve that? Letting players protect their skin. Legalize sunscreen. Pine tar has been shown to affect spin rotation, so I'm not going to argue that pitchers should be able to use that. Any of the wacky stuff that's turning it into wiffle balls is just absurd. You can't use that. But for now, legalize sunscreen. It's absolutely madness, right? It's absolute madness right now. But you know what? I have to say this. Trevor Bauer warned us of this exact situation. I do not like the man personally, but he has been screaming this to the high heavens. And if there's anything I could say, I am at least happy that he said, you know what? Players are going to use this to their advantage to get grin rewards and get compensation. What did he do last year? Won the Cy Young. What did he do this year? He's making $40 million for this year, next year, and $20 million the year after.
If Zach runs for president, that is his take, is legalize sunscreen.
That is my slogan, yes.
Angel, what is your answer?
So unlike my opponent, I'm not beholden to big sunscreen. Also, my problem is, as a pharmacist, when you're using topical solutions, how are we going to stop people from putting steroids in their sunscreen if you've already legalized the sunscreen? It takes a while to get into the bloodstream. That's just what I know. Now, what I will say is MLB should put their money where their mouth is, because this is a league that is about evolving cheating and evolving the game. So listen, original batters, they didn't wear batting gloves. That helps with grips. That helps. The bats are different. The balls are different. What the league needs to do is compile a list of every substance pitchers have used, everything that could help a batter. Do scientific testing, whether it's the spider tack, whether it's sunscreen, whether it's pine tar, and compile a list of 5 approved things that pitchers can do that probably studies have shown can only help them about 15 to 20%, and that's it. You cap it at whatever works up to a limit.
Let's go right to the judges. Alex, let's start with you. Who do you think won the round?
I would have to say that Angel by a squeaker, because he's coming up with a common sense solution here. While Zach's is also common sense, I think Angel, the 5 substances, makes a good point.
So, Joe, who do you think won the round?
I didn't expect today to hear Zach basically give me the Boz Merman approach to this with legalizing sunscreen. That being said, I have to go with Angel because why do you forward rules, man? They've been doing this since the dawn of time. Just figure out which 5 are cool. Is it not? Is it what is it? Pick something. So I'm going to go with Angel.
Dr. Marvin, what do you say?
This is my hot take. I got a tie, and this is why. Angel, love you. MLB has proven they're never going to work. Science doesn't matter.
Amen.
They don't care until they get caught. Steroids, we don't know about that. Spitball was legal. Remember until the World Series got lost behind it and all the money that got shifted. So think about that. But I tell you something about the sunscreen thing, which I find really amazing. Zach, you really hit something on that one. And I like the way you sort of pushed it into like, this is something that they're doing already because they're supposed to use sunscreen anyway to protect themselves because of all the players that came up with cancer, right? But the idea of baseball even sort of figuring out what type of sunscreen is cool, again, I go back to what I said with Angel. They're never going to work. And as long as people are talking about them, as long as they got attention, as long as they're getting some kind of love, they're going to let it go. And then they're going to plead like, oh my goodness, that happened. We're so ashamed. We're going to fix it. Keep buying tickets and shirts and stuff like that. And hopefully you'll watch us on MLB TV. That's what it is. So great job, guys. Really good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so even though Dr. Marvin gave him a tie, majority still ruled, and Angel is the winner of this round. However, per the rules, Zach, would you like to double down on your take?
Absolutely. So what I would like to say here is we should absolutely continue this. The fact is we're talking about science. The science has already been done. It's out there. What we have is the spider tack, everything that's giving pitchers the edge to give them the extra increased spin rate, which is causing all the issue. So you want to go ahead and make that okay and tell the hitters that what they're complaining about doesn't matter? By all means, go right ahead. The other thing the MLB should do is stop changing the baseball. Every year, the MLB changes how the baseball is made, how tightly it's wound, the bounce, the pop, everything. In 2018, it was juiced beyond belief. There were so many home runs. This year, we've got 7 no-hitters. That's the match for the league record. Come on.
Does Zach's doubling down take change any of your mind?
Yes, I'm with Zach.
Alex, you are changing your winner for this round to Zach. Joe, what do you say?
I'm going to stand by the fact that Angel won because, okay, then frickin' turn baseball into what it really is, which is the arms race of cheating. That's what it's been, and that's what it's always going to be.
Dr. Marvin, you had both of these men at a tie. Did his double down take push you in any direction?
She did push me in a direction. I'm going to do a really great job at what you grabbed with that, Zach. I'm going to have to give you that. 2 points. One, when you said the science is already done. Yes, there is a book called The Physics of Baseball. And it gives you the breakdown of the aerodynamics of the baseball, the bat, arm length of baseball players and swings and stuff like that. It's a short read. It's like 135 pages. All that stuff is in there, and it was done many, many years ago. So it must be good because nobody changed it yet. Oh, I forgot. Baseball doesn't work. But the other thing is the idea of that, again, baseball working, not going to happen. But I like the fact that you said the science is already there. They just got to read it. Now, do they know how to read? I doubt it, but we're gonna trust them this time. So Zach, I'll take your rose, bro.
My goodness, in the first ever switch of the judges' opinions in this first ever show that's never happened before today. Zach, you have taken over and you actually won that round. So you won 3 points, which means Angel, Our proxy will have to spin the dreaded wheel of shame for your punishment. The wheel of shame.
Wheel of shame.
Shame.
Wheel of shame. Wheel
Wheel
of
of
shame.
shame.
Wheel of shame.
Shame.
What did it land on?
Follow your least favorite team on Twitter.
Okay, Angel, you would have to follow your least favorite team. Who would that be? Why don't you share that with us?
I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Boston Red Sox. I hate anything Boston-based.
Oh, boy.
I guess I will follow the Philadelphia Eagles because I'd rather die before following something in Boston.
We'll have our producers check that later. You will be banned ever from the show ever again. Okay, so the winner, it looks like, is Zach with 5 points, and Angel, unfortunately, only 1. So, Zach, you are our winner today. You will be joining the big board of victory, and Angel, unfortunately, you will be noted in the dreaded Journal of Failure, along with the Confederacy. I'm sorry, sir. Zach,
Just like in high school. I love it.
Zach, would you like to give a very quick 15-second victory speech?
I'd just like to thank my friends over at the A7FL for preparing me for such a live environment, so to speak.
Okay, great. I would also personally like to thank our 3 judges, Alex Soberman, Joe Blair, and Dr. Marvin Williams. Thank you all so much for joining us in the first official episode of Hot Takes. I'm Stephanie Satilli. Water your plants, everybody.
Hello, family. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Yelling, and thank you for watching this week's episode of The List, presented by me, Marvin Williams. You can find me at Twitter at the Side Notes. Drop me a line for a topic. Drop me a line for something that you want to hear about. Drop me a line for what you didn't like about what I said, or maybe what you liked about what I said. And we can go forward from there and make everything stronger as we move forward each week. In other words, as Matt said in his intro for the show, we're building the plane in the air. So let's, have fun while we do it as we crash to the ground. So this week particular episode, we're going to talk about home team alert coming. Dale Murphy. More specifically, why Dale Murphy is not in the Hall of Fame. We're not going to go over the numbers. We're not going to go about all those other things that you've heard so much about in the same process and talking about him and this and that and whatever that you can get ad nauseum on any other website or any other place. We're going to talk about what he meant, not just as a Brave, but as a baseball player during his day. We know about the 2 MVPs, more specifically the back-to-back MVPs, which means for 2 years he was the best player at his period. So how can then that we look at somebody like that and the multiple Golden Gloves and all the other places where he plays, when you look up his stats, how can this person be justifiably not even seriously considered for the Hall of Fame? It just, to us fans, it makes no sense. And speaking to that lack of sensible choice here for us fans, who do we have to go to for that? And that is the writers. The lack of transparency in the process for how people vote for the Hall of Fame is what makes us as fans, look at you all a little side-eyed when you make a statement like, well, no one deserves 100% vote in the Hall of Fame. Well, why is that? Well, Babe Ruth never got it. Well, did you vote for Babe Ruth or did you not vote for Babe Ruth? Oh, you weren't around then. Okay, so you're just going with what someone else did. And now when we ask you to explain it, you get highbrow on us, and then we look at you even more stank-eyed because that means you don't even know why you're doing something that you're doing. Again, writers need readers. Readers want writers because we want to have that extra insight. We want to have that little added information. But when you do or say things out of context or without proper context, or you do or say things to get a rise out of us, that disrespect goes a long way to make us even get more stank-eyed when we look at you, because we're giving something to the game that you're representing that we can never get back, and that is time. We can buy jerseys, we can sell jerseys, we can buy t-shirts, we can buy tickets, we can do all those other things, but fans give time, and time is the most precious thing that we have, and we can't get that back. So when we go to someone to help us enjoy something that we love as much as we do, and we get that sort of disrespect, guess what? When you vote for something and you're unclear about it, or you write something that's a little skanky, then it's, that's not going to work for us. So remember, you need us. You need the readers, but the readers want you. So give us what you can from the sport. And the same thing goes with the voting. There's some voters who are very transparent. This is why I voted for this person. This is why I didn't vote for this person. Fans can deal with that. That's a point that we can actually make some sort of cognitive argument with, and like the process or not, at least we have something we can work with. One writer says he only votes alphabetically. That's fine too. And this is not about the Baseball Hall of Fame, by the way. That's okay too. We don't agree with that. Many of us don't agree with that process, but at least we understand where this particular person is coming from. Now, the same one person who says that also said that if a particular person is on the ballot in the sport that they have a Hall of Fame vote for, that they're going to void their process and vote for them because they want to make sure that they're on the ballot. Again, honesty, transparency makes us trust you more, makes us want to read you more, makes us want to appreciate your work more because you're showing appreciation for those of us who are looking to you for that guidance in that direction, that understanding of the sport. So we come back to Dale Murphy and we look at why is he not in the Hall of Fame and why does he get so close some years and not even close where he almost doesn't even make it to the next ballot the following year. It's confusing to us. So as fans, we look at not only him, but other players like him who represent the same sort of thing, a significant figure during their particular era who not only just, okay, you win a bunch of championships, but you're a mediocre player and you're put in the Hall of Fame. That makes even less sense to us true fans too, because guess what? That person just happened to be on the team. So participation trophies don't work for us either. We would like to get a better idea and understand why somebody like Dale Murphy, again, home team alert coming, is left out of this particular process and not getting the respect that he deserves. Because goodness knows, you do it later down the road as a old timers vote or whatever the particular new phrase for it is, and it's like he's not around to enjoy it. Guess what? Us readers like you even less, and that's not what we want to see happen because we all love this game. We want to see it go further, honestly. That being said, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of The List. Again, I'm Marvin Williams. Find me on Twitter at The Side Notes. Looking forward to talking to you all soon. And the most important advice I can give you is never loan Jason Bourne your car.
You know, most talk shows, like when you start watching a talk show, they have the monologue up front, like it's the whole band. We don't have a band. We do have Marvin Williams, our band leader. We don't have a band just yet.
No beatboxing for me?
No. It didn't test well.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of testing well, we actually tried to do, Joe, a 1 hour monologue. That was the initial idea behind the show, a 1 hour monologue. But we did some testing, and people said that my face was punchable, kickable. Someone tried to jump at the screen and set the screen on fire. Oh, that was my mom.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this has been work in progress for years, this show, and we finally have gotten it right. And every talk show needs a monologue. It's a part of the show, but we want that time spent watching. We want you to wait until the very end for the monologue. So, we're giving it to you now in a segment we like to call One More Word. And my favorite band is the Mountain Goats. And if you gotta look at me, you would probably guess, yeah, that's right, or you'd think I'd be screwing with you. But they're my favorite band because John Darnielle, the writer, band creator, lead singer, overall brilliant human, he writes these songs that kick your heart so hard in the junk that you forget what breathing feels like. And most of his songs are inherently love songs. They may be about the 80s new wave scene, Southern California wrestling in the 1970s, or songs about actual human relationships. One of my favorites is Cubs in 5, which is the point of the monologue where you realize, oh yeah, this is still a sports show. Good job, fat boy. And the chorus of the song is, and the Chicago Cubs will have beaten every team in the league, and the Tampa Bay Bucks will make it all the way to January. And I will love you again. I will love you like I used to. And now for people who don't remember or are too young to remember the fact that for a century the Chicago Cubs were the lovable losers, and before the Tampa Bay Bucks beat the Raiders on the back of Trent Dilfer in a once-in-a-generation defense and pulling off the most elaborate heist in sports history and getting Tom Brady, they were a hapless team. They were cursed from ever making it or winning a championship. So you gotta listen to these lyrics again and realize that the person he's talking about, he's never gonna love them again. It doesn't take it. Now you listen to those lyrics again and you realize, damn, he's never gonna love that person again. The odds are so infinitesimal that they'll get back together, that these things, these random things have to happen for it to be a reality. And it doesn't take a genius employee to figure out the context of the song. But Jesus, doing a backflip and a kickflip at the same time, does that just hit you right where you live? But within all that, there's hope. Hope within all of that unlikelihood. Hope within all of that realization and that pain. There's hope that it'll happen, that these two lovable losers will rise up from the shores of mediocrity and win the big one. And finally get what they and their fans have been wanting for what feels like forever. That's being a sports fan. There's that unwillingness to concede that it may never happen for you. And trying to make the best of a bad situation, like Tim Tebow being your tight end, or Jerry Jones running your favorite football team, or James Dolan running your favorite basketball team. But you thrash, you scream, you curse, you sink into your seat as that familiar disappointment starts to creep in. But then out of that bleak and unyielding darkness is that one ray of hope, that I will love you again. I will love you like I used to. This has been the first episode of Yelling on Clicks TV and WorldwideLeaderSports.com. We have done it! And going from the emotional schadenfreude from doing that monologue to being happy that the first show is over has made me really, really tired. So I am going to go pour myself a drink, cry in the shower again, and we'll see you right back here next week on Yelling with Matt Ryan. So long, everybody. See you next week.